here, it says, yeah, it is only some, yeah, because I will tell you more in detail later on. Use dynamic motion rather than static holds, yeah. So if you want to assign somebody doing the job using both of hands, so you have to consider the dynamic motion for both hands for the body instead of statics. Why? Because the statics one will increase the fatigue faster, yeah. And then keep the strength requirement below. So we have the rules, yeah. We have a standard. We can defer to the standard. So the standard said that you can give them a job or task, but it should be keep under the maximum strength with 15%. So maybe you will ask me, ma'am, how do we know the strength of somebody to pull something is a certain measure with a certain measurements? Yeah, it is about the force and strength. So actually, there are so many tools. Yeah, maybe sometimes I will tell you. Yeah, these tools, the usage is for this one. Yeah, so please remind me after this topic before we go into the next topic next week. I will tell you the some tools because we don't. You cannot come into our lab at this time. Actually, we have many kinds of tools. Yeah, we can measure the strength or the force of people while they are push something or pull something using one hand or both hands. Yeah, so like that. So based on that measurement, we know that the maximum strength for each people it will be different. Yeah, and we can come up with the average for the men and average for the women. And some standards can give us the guidance. Maybe for the European people, it will be different. For the Asian people, it will be different. American will be different. So we can refer to the standard. And the next one is avoid extreme range of motion. You know that the people they have the limited range when they move their body or their hands. Yeah, nobody can move their joint for all direction. I'm sure about that one. But it is not only a sign for all direction, but for one direction, you have to determine the range. You have to you have to avoid the extreme range, and it should provide job with the proper range for the body motions, for the part of our body motion like hands and our body. So don't assign somebody to do the job and it involves the extreme range motion. Yeah, for example, more than 180, these people should turn on the body for many times. So it is a very dangerous and difficult for him. Yeah, if it is difficult, it means we will increase the energy consumption, right? If energy consumption, sometimes energy consumption in this subject called with the energy expenditure, and sometimes we can call with the energy consumption. So it will increase the fatigue. If you consume more energy or produce more energy, so you will get fatigue faster. And we have to avoid it. Actually, all of this strategy is to avoid fatigue and accident. Use the smallest muscle for speed and precision. So it is very normal. If you want to do the precision one, you start from the finger. Yeah, you cannot do the precision job using your elbow. Yeah, so it is like that. Use the largest muscle for strength. Yeah, if you need a strength of somebody to do the job, like flip the heavy things, so it started using the largest muscle. It means what is largest muscle? It started from the higher part of body. Yeah. For example, the smallest one it's about the finger. So highest than the finger, it is we talk about the muscle from our finger into the elbow. Higher than that is this one, from the elbow into the shoulder and so on. And it is will be applicative for the leg too. So use the largest muscle. Okay. For lifting and other heavy manual work, there are some rules. Keep workload below 1/3 of the maximum of work capacity. So how do we know work capacity? We can refer into the standard, or we can measure the work capacity and maximum force of every person, and then we keep it 1/3 of the maximum work. Minimize horizontal load distance. Why? Because move something in the horizontal distance, it will be more difficult instead of rather than you have to flip it, yeah. And then avoid twisting. Twisting, yeah, like doing something so many times to twist the wrist, so it is not good. Twist your body, yeah, it increase the accident, or maybe in our simple word, ya salah urat, salah apalah ya. So it is not good for our health. Salah urat is not a simple one. Sometimes people call it salah urat, but some of the some of the symptoms, yeah, it is not salah urat, but it can be more serious than that. So use frequent or short word cycle. So the better one is, it is not take 1 hour for 8 hours for the rest time, but for a certain job, for the job in the office, maybe it's okay, yeah. After 4 hours, you got the rest time 1 hour, and then continue until the 8 hours. But for the heavy job, maybe for the people who work beside the compressor, yeah, compressor produce the heat, so it is not good for them to stay there for a long time. So it's better if we design many time of the rest time, yeah. Maybe after 1 hours they got 15 minutes, yeah, and so on, yeah, because it is not good for them to it is not good for their health to stay there for longer. And then 3 basic subdivision principles in doing manual job. The use of human body. We have to understand what the use of each of our body, yeah, every part of our body, the arrangement and conditions of the workplace. It's about the human body. And the second one, we have to arrange. We have to know. We have to provide them with the very convertible of the workplace. And the other one is you have to provide them with the proper and suitable tools and equipment. Yeah, maybe the job assigned to the person, they will use their body in the normal condition. I mean, normal is no any motion against the natural body movement. Yeah, but the condition is not good. The air circulation is not good. The temperature is too high, so it will reduce their performance. Yeah, and after that they will get some problem with their health, or maybe their movement is normal. There is no any movement and motion of body will against the natural of body movement, and the condition is okay. Yeah, all of conditions are okay, but the tools is not okay. You provide them with the very old tools, and it needs for the extra effort to use that. So it will increase their fatigue too, because they have to produce more calorie to use these tools. Yeah. Any question until these slides? Do you have questions, or is it clear enough?
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet. Okay, so I will take the attendance first while I'm explaining. I will check the attendance. I want to ask somebody, so I have the list of your name here. Okay. So the next one is the musculoskeletal systems. Yeah, you know that our body consists of the muscles, or there are so many muscles. Yeah, and we have, in general, we have 3 types of the muscles. Yeah. So what is the musculoskeletal system? The human body is able to produce movement because of actually muscle and bones. You know that we can feel for the muscle which attach to the bones. Yeah. So we call it the musculoskeletal systems. And if we try to categorize it to be kinds of muscle inside of our body, there are three types in general. The first one is skeletal or striated muscle. Yeah, so it can feel it by us, attached to the bones. Yeah, you can feel all of your muscles which attach to our bones. And the next one is cardiac muscles. You cannot feel it. Yeah, found it in your heart. And the last one is smooth muscle found in the internal organs like your kidney, yeah, and walls of the blood vessel. Yeah, so we will not focus on cardiac muscle and smooth muscle, but we will focus on the skeletal muscle. Why? Because it has important roles for our movement. We will learn more about the movement of every operator in the working area. So, because it is about the manual, right? In doing the job, all of the employee will do movement from starting from the very light movement until the heavy movement. Okay, principles of work design, human capabilities and motion economy. So, two terms or two phrases that you have to consider is human capabilities. You have to consider about the human capabilities and the motion economy. So human capabilities, sometimes it can be increased. Yeah, if we know that the normal condition, it will be the human capabilities, but sometimes we can make it higher than this one. How? By supporting them with tools, yeah, improve the tools and so on. But the other one is you have to consider about motion economy. So make the motion to be more efficient. If they can do it with a small number of repetition, why did you assign them with the many repetition in their job? So like that. If they can do with the smallest part of the muscle, why did they have to do the job with the largest muscle? It means for the heavy job. Yeah. If you can make it more simple, why it should be complicated? So like that. So the principle of work design achieves the maximum muscle strength at the mid-range motion. The meanings of maximum muscle strength is it should be in the very relaxed conditions. Yeah. So in the very comfortable conditions. So it is the example for the people who want to do the job in the sitting conditions. So the first one is you have to find the relaxed posture for these workers. Yeah. So if you find the relaxed posture, and then you will assign the job at that position, because they can produce more. They will be more optimum because in this condition they will produce less number of calorie because they are in the relaxed condition. So you can see from this picture, a relaxed condition for the sitting condition is sitting position is. So the angle of the arm, it should be higher than, or it will be around that degrees. Yeah, the angle will be 122 plus minus 24 degrees. So like, and then when you take a look into the leg, yeah, so the leg has the angle is 133 plus minus 8 and so on and so on. So if you want to find the relaxed posture, if you want to assign somebody to be seated for doing a job in 8 hours, so you have to design the supporting tools. What will be the supporting tools? Chairs, right? The chairs should produce these positions. So if you design the chairs and the workers can sit in this condition, they can give the best performance, because this posture will make them to sit, even for the sleep, we will produce or consume the energy. Yeah? So we will try to make this person in the sitting condition produce less number of calorie. So the rest can be used to do the job. It means they can do their job in the optimum performance. Okay, yeah, so in here, musculoskeletal system, the human body is able to produce movement. Yeah, so it is about the muscle, because of there is a muscle and muscle attached to the bone, so we can produce the movement. The muscle are attached to the bone, so it is about the musculoskeletal system. So achieve the maximum muscle strength with slow movement. If you want to assign somebody to do the heavy job, really try to lift the heavy things. So don't give them a high number of target per day, because they can produce the maximum muscle if they can do it slowly. They can make it lift the 50 kilograms 30 times in 30 minutes. Yeah, you have to consider that what will be their target. Don't push them to have the target beyond their capacity. Yeah, so it is the clue in here. The achieve the maximum muscle strength with slow movement. The faster the molecular bonds are formed, broken. Yeah, so the if you ask them to do it faster, so the health problem will come, right? So the next one, the principle in moving our body is use momentum. If you assign somebody, maybe you can help them by the momentum to assist workers wherever possible. Minimize it if it counteracted by muscular effort. For example, if you assign somebody to bring the heavy things, yeah, maybe they have to push it or they have to pull it. It's better if you add some momentums to help them. How to use the momentums? So maybe you can change the surface of the floor, yeah, make it to be smooth, yeah, and then or maybe you can make it to be a trolley. They can push it or they can pull it, yeah. So provide the momentum. Yeah, the simple momentum in human activities is when you put nail on the wall, you use hammer, yeah. So can you imagine how to put nail into the wall if without hammer, you don't hit it, yeah. So give momentum, make the job to be easier then. So we can use these kinds of the momentum applications into another job, yeah. So for example, you want to slide something through the slopes one, yeah, the slope surface, and to make it faster, yeah, you have to give the momentum, push it, yeah. So like that. It is one of the things should be done, yeah, to as an one of the effort to make the movement to be more economically. Design tasks to optimize human strength capability. So you have to consider that in what posture that somebody will come up with the optimum human strength. Yeah. So each of the body has the maximum or optimum strength while they are in a certain posture. So, for example, if somebody have to do the job, yeah, which one will be good if they do it with the back bending back or without a bending back? So maybe the second one is good, yeah. So like that, you have to consider it, that condition. Design tasks to optimize human strength capability. Human strength capability depends on the type of the strength, yes. The type of the dynamic or static of the strength. So while they are doing the job in the static condition or the dynamic conditions, yeah. And then psychophysical strength, yeah. So extended time. So it's if you want to do the overtime, so it has a different for even you apply the same overtime for both of the workers, it will produce a different impact, yeah, because inside of that one there is the psychophysical strength influence the performance, the muscle or joint motion being utilized, yeah. So it's every person, they have the sensitivity in their joint. Maybe the job for the A person, when they use their joint in their arms, yeah, so they have no problem. But for other person, they are more sensitive and they got the problem for one time job, yeah. And posture. So we have to find out, is it good for this posture or not good? So in the next topic, maybe later on, after several topics, I will tell you how to assess the bad and the good posture for workers in doing the job. Yeah. So we will use the some methods. And maximum acceptable load is 40 to 50% less than one time static exertion. So in an extensive level of psychophysical strength of various, and you can take a look into the book. Yeah. So the sentence to optimize human strength. Yeah, it means you have to consider that type of the strength. It will be type of the strength. For example, this job will be done by the people when they do this job using one hands and pull something. It will be different with the pull something using both hands. Yeah, so like that. And individual factors can impact into the strength and capabilities of the human in doing the job. Gender, age, handedness, fitness, and many kinds of gender. In the working place, gender will be considered, right? And age, yes, you will not find operator over 40, I think. Yeah, over 35, yeah, and so on and so on. So it is about the elbow fixation. So we know we will use when we do something about the lower arm and the upper arm. So it's about the bicep tricep muscles. Yeah. So there are some like shoulder flexation tools, elbow tension, and many kinds of should be considered. So the general rules here is don't try to against the natural body movement. Yeah, you know that you can feel it. Yeah, if you try to move your lower arm into the difficult movement, so you will feel some pain. Yeah, or if you don't feel pain, but you think that it's quite difficult to do it, so you will produce more calorie to do it. After doing only several times, you will get tired. Yeah, so don't try to send somebody to do that one. Yeah, it is the principles in considering the elbows motion and movement. Design of tools and equipment. So we know that the tools and equipment will support our job, right? Will support the human in doing the job. So the principles in design of tools and job is it should be make it easier and faster. Yeah. So if you want to design the supporting tools, if it is make it more complicated, so stop it. Yeah. If makes the people will do the job with the difficult posture, so it is not good. The principles is, so why in our IE meetings, innovative product is if you can make a product and it can change the people lifestyle. Why? Because they can do it with the very easier one or with the very faster. Yeah. So combined tools. The principles in here is if you have two tools, it has its own function. If you can make it to be one tools and both of the function will be put inside of one, so it's good. Yeah. And then proposition tools and materials, it means it's about the detail of the tools, the detailed design of the tools. Yeah. You know that the tools, it has the part of the tools. And each part, it has its own use. So you have to consider that where this part or this component will be put, it should make easier for the workers. For example, you can take a look into the picture, right? They make a tools, but the tools make the workers to bend their back. So it is not a good posture. Yeah. Why we call it a not good posture? Because with that posture, workers will consume more energy because they have to deal with the posture in doing their job. So the first thing is you have to make the workers in the normal or in the relaxed positions, so they will produce less number calorie for the posture. The rest of the calorie will be used to do the job. Yeah, so like that. And then where each finger performs some specific movement, the load should be distributed in accordance with the. So if you want to do the job, so you have to think that the job will be distributed in the balance condition for all of our body part. It's not only don't try to give a big number load into a certain part of our body. Yeah, even in here, it's use the finger as an example. For light assembly, a screwdriver handle should be smaller at the bottom. Yeah, so you have to design a tools in the very very suitable. It's not only about the function, but it can be about the design too, because the design can give the impact into the performance of the product. Yeah, for example, we talk about the hammer. Hammer is very simple, right? The function is to hit the nail. So it will be about the top part of the hammer will be hit a nail. But you make the handle with a very big diameter. So it's produced uncomfortable for the workers. So it can reduce their performance. Yeah. So even only about the handle, you have to consider about how about the diameter of the handle every person. You have to consider it, and after you can design the very comfortable shape and size of the handle. Another consideration is about the materials. Yeah, using the metals, it is very will be slippery, right? So maybe put the rubber around the handle is good. So like that, it should be. You have to think about the detailed design in every supporting tools. Changing one aspect, it can improve. It can make the condition looking different. Momentum should be to have the workers in doing their tasks. Yeah, so I have taught you momentum. Yeah, momentum can use many things. You can use momentum in manual one using the slopes and gravitations principles, gravity principles. Okay, principles of motion economy as related to uses of the human body. Work should be arranged to permit an easy and natural rhythm wherever possible. So it's about the natural rhythms of our body. So what will be the natural rhythm? So I will tell you later on. Eye fixation should be as few as close as possible. It means it is not as close as possible. It's not about the distance of our eyes into the object, yeah, but the angle, yeah, it should be a few and a small, yeah. It's not good if you put the big range for the eyes to observe something because it will make the performance to be lower than. And then principles of motion economy is related to the equipment. Yeah. So we talk about the equipment design. So it's the hands should be relieved of all work that can be done more advantageously by a chip. So if we can design a tools, yeah, to hold something, it's good because we have to keep the hands will be free, and most of the hands can do another job. Yeah. For example, maybe I have told you, yeah, I have this marker, and imagine that this marker has more than 2 parts. So has 2 parts, right? It has 5 parts, and then I will keep it with my hands, and I put it one by one all of the part. So it means my left hands do nothing, right? Just hold it. So it is not efficient. Why don't I try to design something to hold it? So both of my hands can do the assembly process. So the assembly process will be faster. It is the economic principles in design the job. 2 or more tools should be combined. Okay, so I have told you before. Tools and materials should be prepositioned whenever possible. So yeah, lay out again the positions of the materials, tools, and so on. So it is use large muscle for tasks requiring strength. Yeah. Don't, for example, if somebody have to flip something, and you know that it use the large muscles, right? They use the leg muscles and the arm until shoulders. Yeah. So the best improvement that you can do is try to transfer the load of from the large muscle into the small muscle. Can you imagine the people who bring the heavy things with their hands? Yeah. So you give the load into their hands and their leg, right? And maybe part of the body. But if it is okay, so you can put it on the chair. So just imagine the chairs as a trolley, give it wheel, and you try to transfer all of the muscle that's been active before will be transferred into the muscles, only several muscle in the leg, in the arms and in the legs. Yeah. So maybe very small part muscle will do job from our body. Yeah. So if you can change it to be another thing, so it's good. So the principles is if many muscles involved in doing the movement, try to reduce the numbers of muscle involved in their job with the tools. Yes, try to design the supporting tools that can minimize the numbers of muscle will be involved in their job, in their task. Yeah. So stay below and so on and so on. I think it is very simple. The way in calculating how long that this person can do the job. Yeah. For examples that in here, yeah, it says that T is time and endurance time, the duration in doing the job, F required force, expressed as a fraction of maximum isometric strength. And if force level 50% of maximum strength, how long the workers will be able to sustain in doing their job. Yeah, so it is the calculation, so it is 1 hour. So if it is the maximum times for the workers, yeah, keep in this condition. So after this time, we have to rotate this person into another task, yeah, to recover their force. So how about if 10%? So it will be longer. Yeah, it will be longer. So like that. So if you give them the maximum force for their job, so don't ask them to stay at that job for a long time. One shift with a heavy job is not good for their health, and it will increase the possibilities of accidents. Yeah. So you have to find out this one. Maybe after 1 hour, you rotate them into another area. So it is your job as engineer. Yeah. So if you want to keep them longer in that area, try to reduce their loads. Yeah. Or if you reduce their loads, the force will be reduced too. Any questions?
Not yet.
Any question? Do you have questions? Not yet. Okay. So if we try to apply these principles in the working area, yeah, maybe if we try to do this one in the regulation, each person will have the different time, the different rest cycle time. Yeah, because they have the different load. Now, to avoid that, the different of the rest cycle time for every person, so why we have to make it to be standard for all load, for all workers. If they have the standard of load, so we know that they can do the rest at the same time. Yeah, because we know the load of them, it more or less will be similar. Any questions? Not yet?
Yes, not yet, ma'am.
Okay, bagus ya nilainya, nanti not yet dulu ya. Okay. Awas kalau nggak bagus. Sorry, Watina, is it recording now?
Yes, already.
I forgot to record it because. Okay, so use short, frequent, intermittent water cycle. So it has a close relation with my previous explanations. So the good one is not is it should design the short time duration for doing a job. So it means they have the frequent time to do the rest. Why? Because we know that the body, when we got fatigue, we need time to recover. Yeah, to recover our conditions. Yeah. So why we feel fatigue? You know that why we feel fatigue? Anybody knows why after doing some jobs we feel fatigue? Kenapa sih kita bisa capek? So what is the symptoms of a fatigue condition? Apa sih? Yeah. Anybody know? Huh?
We doing it repetitive.
Yeah, because we do the repetitive job, right? And then could you mention the symptoms of the fatigue? If the person said they're fatigue, apa yang dia rasa waktu dia fatigue?
Pegel, men.
Pegel. Iya. Apalagi lelah, right? Lelah, spend their calorie. Okay, pegel, yeah, because we talk about the manual job, masih pegel, right? So why we feel pegel after we do the job for 1 hour, 2 hours? Kenapa sih? Ada yang tahu nggak? Why we feel that?
Karena terlalu lama, men. For example, if we holding the maybe spidol lah, men, for 10 or 20 minutes, maybe it's okay, but if we hold it for 1 hour, it's cangkel, men. Pegel.
Langsung dari cangkel. Okay. Yeah, 25% correct lah, because of the time is long in keeping that condition, yeah. But why after a long time you feel pegel or cangkel? There is no the cangkel in kamus, yeah? Anybody knows cangkel? So
it's pedal, man.
Yeah, some students from the east of Indonesia don't know the cangkel, right? Okay, so why we feel that one after we do the job for a certain time? Maybe it's not long time, yeah. If somebody do the heavy job, yeah, the shorter time to get cangkel, right? Kok ketawa? Okay, why? It is about the medical terms.
The limitation of the muscle.
Because after you do the job and then our muscle move, and then our body will produce the lactic acid, yeah, and then the lactic acid will keep in our muscles, yeah, and then after it's has a certain number in the muscle, so you will feel the pegel, right? So to release that lactic acid from the muscle, you have to take a rest. Now, if you design the rest after a long time to do the job, you know that the pegel will be more heavy, right? So it takes more time to release it. And it means it takes more time to be fresh for the workers. So the good things is you give it short time to take a rest after several times and frequently. So it doesn't need for the big or long time to recover their body to release the lactic acid, and it will be fresh faster than the previous one. So they can do the job with the higher or highest performance again. Okay, design tasks so that most workers can do them. So how to design tasks that can make most of the workers can do them? So we have to standardize the process in doing the job. We call it the procedure. If after we make a procedure and then we know that how many percent of the workers cannot do the procedure, the first procedure until a certain numbers of procedure, and then it will be easier for us to provide them with the training. If we have no standard of the activities, in the smallest part, we call it the work elements. So it will be difficult for us to find in which aspect of the workers cannot do the job better or cannot do the job very well. So break it down to be the job to be task to be the work elements is very important because we have to make it to be standardized. And if we standardize the job, it will be easy for us to assess and evaluate it. It's not only for evaluating the process or the work elements, but for the workers assessment. Okay, is it clear?
Inshallah clear, ma'am.
The rest, where is your voice? No voice that. It's only Ibrahim answer my question. Is it Ibrahim or not? There is only Ibrahim here, or how many of you?
40.
Nah, where is the 41%? Diwakili Ibrahim itu ya?
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody against Ibrahim's statement. So, ma'am, no, I don't understand this part. I want to hear from you. You don't understand. It is not clear enough for me. I explain it. Every years I explain about this subject, right? But sometimes I miss something. When you ask me, so I realized that I didn't explain this one, or maybe I think that I explained it very well, but you don't understand. So I have to change my way in explaining. Tapi kalau kalian baik-baik saja, itu sampai-sampai ngantuk, I don't know that is it okay or not okay, So if you want to ask something, you can ask me. If you don't want to ask directly, you can use the chat room, right? Maybe somebody they are hesitant to ask because in your opinion, when you ask something, you feel that it's only me, that the person who don't understand about this explanation. But when you ask about that one, some of your friends, or maybe almost all of your friends said that thank you because I don't understand too about that one. So don't hesitate to ask me something,
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, let's continue. Hope that you are. Nah. So it is use low force for price movement or fine motor control for precise. Use low force, So I tell you, use low speed for workers to do the heavy job. This one is the opposite one. But we talk about use low force. It means we will involve the smallest part of the muscle in doing the precise movement or fine control the motor control. So when to control or find the motor control, it means it can be like buttons. Do you find buttons using your elbow? Or you push button using your elbow? No, right?
No.
You will push button using your finger. So it says that it uses the low force starting for the smallest part of our body, smallest muscle part. So smallest muscle part starting from the finger. And if we use the smallest part of our body, we use for the precise one, and it can be the speed can be faster than the highest part of the muscle. For example, when you involve on your fingers, you can do the job faster. So it's give impact into the target. You can increase the target for you can make it quite bigger of the target production for your workers if they do the job using the finger only. But if it is increased, their job will involve the muscle until elbow, so the numbers of operations should be decreased. The numbers of target should be decreased compared to the first one. If they have to do the job involve the upper arms until the shoulder, the numbers of operations should be decreased again because the speed will be lower than the first and the second one. So it is the implications of these principles into a job design. Any questions?
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet. So what do you think? Do you think that when I explain something, it is too fast?
Not really, ma'am. So far, so good.
Oh, bagus, baik kalian. It's only what this guy said that I explain something is too fast, yeah. Most of all batch said that I explain something is too fast. Well, no things can be improved, right, in this classroom. Okay. Don't attempt precise movement or fine control immediately after heavy work. So it means if you assign several types of job into one person, yeah, don't try to change from the precise movement of the task into the heavy work because it will be difficult for the person to adapt their body from this job into this task into another task. They need time to be adapted. Yeah. So it is. So if you want to change their task, so don't try to change from the smallest muscles. Maybe you can be one level beyond that one. Yeah. For example, the first time the people are doing meliting rokok, right? And then the next one, don't ask them to bring the heavy things, yeah, to lift the heavy things, but maybe you can give the next assignment is try to put the cigarette into the box, the small box, apa itu, the package, yeah, the package of the cigarettes. So it is increased from the finger activities into the lower arm activities. So it is the principles here. Is it clear?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
in this slide, the sentence said that do not attempt precise movement of fine control immediately after heavy work.
Yeah.
But in the
it
picture,
can be the opposite.
precise movement to heavy work.
Yeah.
Which one is
It
the?
can be the opposite, yeah.
Oh,
Do not attempt precise movement of fine control immediately after. Yeah, it can be the opposite lah. Yeah. Could you get the point? Or the heavy to the precise one, or the precise one to the.
so
So it's
okay. So the point is
this is
yang
about
levelnya
the
dekat aja gitu ya,
level
Ma'am?
of the level of the muscles.
yang-
I said that
yang-
muscles, small muscle until the largest muscle, right? So this example here, the small until the largest, right? Yang dua contoh ini kan dari yang small sampai yang paling besar. Is it? Could you get the point? So in here it says from the precise. It says that immediately after heavy work, right? So it's will be applied the opposite. Kebalikannya juga bisa. It should be if you want to assign it, harus turun satu tingkat ke bawah juga. Kalau naik satu tingkat ke atas. Is it clear? Do you get the point? Naik satu tingkat, turun satu tingkat.
Okay, ma'am.
For the rest of the class, ya, mungkin kalian bingung apa sih yang disebut naik satu tingkat, turun satu tingkat. Is it clear enough? So, like this example, ya, because I have explained this into the other classroom. Sometimes I feel that I have been shared to you, padahal belum gitu. Anybody knows about the increase one level of the muscles? Ada yang tahu nggak? Increase the job into the higher level of the muscles. Ada yang tahu nggak maksudnya itu? Kalau nggak tuh tanya.
So the meaning is like after the fingers we use the lower arm, and then after lower arm we use the shoulder or upper arm, ma'am, like that.
Yeah, or the opposite one.
Oh,
Like it says that do not attempt precise movement of fine control immediately after heavy work. Yeah, it means it's not good from the heavy and then you change into the precise one. Heavy, for example, like in this picture, yeah. In this picture, this person on the right side, in doing these activities, he used almost all of the body muscles, right? Iya enggak? He used the leg, he used the arms, iya nggak sih?
Yes.
And then if you want to change it, just try to going down one level. Kalau going down into the precise itu berapa level turunnya? It jump directly, right?
Yes.
Nah, that's the meaning. Maybe after this, after the right one, the right picture, there's this person doing this one, and then you give him, try to transfer the small or the lighter than this one. It just use only the both hands. Misalnya ini mungkin 20 kilo, and then after that you give the load is only 3 kilograms or 5 kilograms. It's used only 3 kilograms, 5 juga berat ya, 3 kilograms, and move with both hands into a certain area. So it's lighter than the previous one, but it is not directly to be the precise one. Is it clear? What do you think? What do you think?
Inshallah.
Could this person do the precise job after doing this heavy one?
Yes, but maybe not that effective.
Less
The
concentration.
best performance of him.
No, because orang habis bawa kayak gitu pasti tangannya gemeter kok.
Oh.
Is it?
Yes, right, ma'am.
Yeah, so it is not. Yeah, it's not effective. It means we cannot achieve our objectives, right? Our target, right? Because manufacturing, every job has its own target. Yeah. This person should bring this for the right picture. The manufacturing will have a target for this worker. Maybe in hours bring these heavy things for 5 times, or I don't know, yeah. But each of them has a target. And doing the finger, the precise one using the finger has a target too. If you said that they can do it, but they cannot achieve the target, so it is not good to assign them to do that. Yeah, we will achieve our target below than the plan. Okay, is it okay or not okay?
Okay.
Okay-nya pelan gitu.
Okay, ma'am.
Ya, okay.
Inshallah, okay, ma'am.
Okay, the next one, use ballistic movement for speed. Now, if we talk about the ballistic movement, it's about the continuous movement doing by our body. Yeah. So if we want to do some movement, yeah, and then we have to consider that this movement will follow our nature of the natural movement of our body. Yeah. How do we know that it is the natural movement of our body? It's not against the natural movement. Gimana ulanginnya? So do you know if you want to take something, which one will be easier for you? Take it in front of, or take it like? Could you see me? Take it like this. So in front of you, even it is higher, it's better than taking from the back, right? Nah, if you feel something difficult to do that, so it means it's against your natural body movement. So what can we do? Just move the part and put that part in front of you or besides you. It make it easier, right? But if we talk about the ballistic one, you have to do some activity, some movement in doing the job, but all of the movement should follow the natural body movement. For example, we have a battle. Now in here, they have to move. Anggaplah ya dia menggerakkan itu ya. They have to move this part into the right and left, and then after that they have to push it Yeah. So it is using the ballistic movement. But why it's put the tools? Because it should be pull it again. Yeah, pull it is quite difficult because it's against the natural body movement. Mengangkat sesuatu ke atas itu lebih berat. So it use the tools. Nggak perlu orangnya. It's, to pull it, it's still okay for him. Itu ballistic movement because the pushing something is easier than the pull it. Ya, mengangkat ke atas. So pull it, in this activities categorized as the against the natural body movement, and then it put tools to pull it. Jadi kalau ditaruh terus dia naik, orang tuh hanya menggeser-geser aja ke posisinya and then push it down again. And the other example is if you want to open and close the bottle, yeah, and the cover of the bottle, it should, you have to stir it and push it. Yeah. And which one will be easier for you when you open it? If you stir it and push it, it means when you want to open it, you have to stir it and pull it. Is it right? Younger.
Proses.
For example, there is a bottle. You have to stir it and pull it, baru tertutup. Which one will be easier for you? And when you want to open it, you will stir it and pull. To cover it, you have to stir it and push it, right? To open it, you have to stir it and pull it, right?
Easier to push, ma'am.
Easier to push. Now, if it is easier to push, you have to avoid that. To open the bottle using the system stir and pull it. Maybe you have to design the cover with the push button, only push, and when you push it and it will be come out. Yeah. So like that, it using the ballistic of movement. What else? Yeah. Okay, I have another example. Some workers, you try to imagine, yeah, because it is about the manufacturing activities. Some workers, they have to cut a product, cutting using the cutting machine, right, or cutting tools, the length part, and then it cut it, and then after that, it's not all of the cutted one will be the good one, because maybe there is one small thing should be thrown into the bin, right? And it put the bin besides of them, besides of the workers. So the workers needs one movement to put it into their side, right? Maunya ke samping, ya. If I consider the ballistic movement, I want to make it easier. Yeah, try to join the movement, but it's easier than this one. So I put the bin below the cutting tools. So just drop it, and it's so that like that. You have to, because throw into the right one or the left one, this person have to twist their body, right? It's even only for a small angle, but there is an effort in that movement. Is it right or not?
Yes.
Nah, that's the point in this subject. You know that how to minimize all. So if you want to combine, so in the ballistic movement principle, it says that for speed, yeah. So it's make the activities to be faster. If you want to combine the movement, two or more, it means more than one. So you have to consider that it will not. There is no any movement against the body movement, the natural body movement. Is it clear? Now, another example on the right side. What do you think? Why the automotive company made this personnel with this condition, front and back? Why don't they try to make one in the right side and two in the left side? So we will move it right and left. Which one will be easier? Up, front and back, or right and left?
Right and left.
Really? So imagine that you drive a car, and then you will move with your left hands. You will move the persnelling without seeing.